All right, my two impact players. First of all, as Morgan wouldn't have it any other way. Obviously, I start with the offensive line. I've got Sean Pollard as my impact player. He's moved all the way across the line. He was at right tackle to kind of start out with, and he moved to guard. Now he's at center. He's kind of been everywhere. He's had some ups and downs for sure throughout his career, but right now they think they found him a home at center. Anyways, I think no news is good news. Haven't been hearing a lot about him here this fall practice, so I'm hoping he's getting his snaps together, getting the velocity, getting the accuracy that we need from him at that position to do his job. Obviously, snapping, really important part for the center position. It's a big boy in the middle. He can really anchor the center of that line. So if he were to go somewhere else, it changes the dynamic of the entire line. So hopefully he's able to kind of man that position and be the guy that they expect him to be all season for sure. Number two, it's another one on the interior. All right, we're going with Niles Pinckney. Everybody understands, the departure of Christian Wilkins and Dexter Lawrence. The questions are on the DT. Okay, everybody's wondering about the DTs and the DEs. Okay, everybody's wondering about the line. We lost everybody across the line. Okay, Niles Pinckney is the only one that comes back with any kind of real experience at defensive tackle. All right, so we're going to be relying on a lot of youth there, a lot of inexperience. But Pinckney has the ability. Okay, we've seen some of the ability that he's shown, and I think Jordan Williams as well is going to be a good force there. And heck, even Tyler Davis, Xavier Kelly, you can go all the way down the list. But Niles is where it starts. Okay, because he's had the most experience. He's a very talented guy. We're really going to rely on him, especially early in the season, to kind of set the tone and stuff the run.
I like those so far. Every time we do these lists, we're always so different, even though it's the same team, which is amazing. I love it every single time we do it. So for me, the two seniors that really, if you like I said, if you watch the show, if you've read any articles from TigerNet, listened to anything on WCCP, you have seen that it's all about DeAndre Overton and Chad Smith. So I picked DeAndre Overton, Chad Smith. Overton because he's going to be playing that slot position, which is not a typical slot position for a big guy like himself, something he's going to have to get used to. But really, what's going to be even more interesting is the opposing defense is getting used to someone who's not Hunter Renfrow, someone who's not Amari Rogers, like short and shifty and kind of can squeak out of things and settle into the zone. This is going to be a guy that he can settle into the zone, but somebody who can go deep and get jump offs. And you don't normally have to worry about that from a slot position, but on Clemson's side of things, they have so many wide receivers to pick from. It's just made sense to have him there, and it was even better for me because he was one of those guys that mentioned recently that he had thought about transferring. This is a guy who came in. He was highly recruited by a lot of different big time schools, and kind of got overshadowed pretty quick. When you're at an elite team, you only have a year, really. You might even only have a summer to try to prove yourself. So you have to get in there and get in there quick. Look at Sheridan Jones. I know people are talking about it in the chat already. Sheridan Jones. Look at him. This is a guy got in there, got in quick, because guess what? You let 2 summers go by, your name's not being mentioned. It might be over on an elite team like Clemson. And, I hate saying this because Kirk Herbstreit started it, I believe, and like everybody has been copying him, but the embarrassment of riches it's a true statement. But man, everybody on ESPN copies that. It's like they say it 15 times every game. Embarrassment of riches over here. I mean, I'm not going to complain because I know I've been a Clemson fan for a long time, and I know what it's like to not have that.
Yeah.
And then on the flip side, Chad Smith. Chad Smith's another guy we talked about with Overton, waiting for his time. Chad Smith, this is his last year. Man, he's like a graduate. He has been waiting this whole time behind elite linebackers to get his shot. This guy was rated 6.0 over on Rivals, was right under a 5-star. He has some great film, but that's about it. I mean, he's got a lot of film from special teams, but not a lot of film as a linebacker starting at all. No. You're talking about somebody who's got under 200 snaps last year, now going to be thrust into the limelight there and going to be probably getting like 700 snaps now. Maybe less, but maybe more, who knows. But he's going to get more than double his amount of snap counts now going into his final season of eligibility, which is interesting. But if you look at some of the discussions from camp, they're all very confident with him. He's leaned down, 235, ready to get around. When you're on the weak side, you have to be able to catch up to some of those plays, because a lot of times they'll run to the strong side and you're not going to be on that side. So you got to be able to catch up, find where your man is, blitz when you need it, come up behind the running back sometimes. So you're kind of trailing the play to make sure it doesn't squeak past and they do any change of direction or anything. But so I'm excited for Overton and Smith. Let us know in the comments what you think, who you're most excited about as a senior